The idea of GSM was developed at Bell Laboratories in 1970. It is a widely used mobile communication system in the world, and GSM is an open and digital cellular technology used for transmitting mobile voice data. Operate at 850 MHz, 900 MHz, and 1800 MHz. Now we are reached up to 2600 MHz, but this was the initial technology. So they are using these lower frequency bands. This concept was implemented at Bell Laboratories using mobile radio system in 1970. So old. And during 70 to 82, there are all the modifications done in the GSM only. And after that, the GPRS architecture was implemented. So GSM architecture is mainly divided into three subsystems: base station subsystem, network switching subsystem, and operation and support subsystem. So it is divided for understanding the different functionality, because all are different in functionality. The base station, the name itself tells that the base station is on the particular earth station. Network and switching subsystem is distributed, because we cannot connect the mobile from the single cell. We have to make this system distributed, and operation and support is also distributed, because this is looking over all the communication carried out in the GSM architecture. So only here the visible thing is base station subsystem. We can see and we can understand. All are the some are the hardware parts, some are the software part, which we have to understand only, that how the functionality of these subsystems takes place. Now the simple architecture is shown in this block diagram. So here many of us are familiar already with GSM architecture. The mobile station is communicating with the BTS. BTS is the base transceiver station. We can say it as a transmitting antenna, transmitting and receiving antenna, or we can say tower. So the mobile tower is called as BTS in short, and this tower is connected with the wireless interface with the mobile stations. And these in the particular area, geographical location, the area is divided in hexagonal shapes, and each area is having one BTS. So this BTS is again connected to BSC, base station controller. So the bases, there is no any limit for the base station controller that how many BTS are connected. Actually, it depends on the popularity of that region. Suppose in that particular region there are 100 BTS, then BSC can connect suppose 90 BTS, then the 10 BTS are connected to another BSC. Like this, the infrastructure is first implemented, and this is total the base station subsystem. So if any particular mobile want to initiate a call, the mobile will send the request to BTS, and BTS will transfer the request to BSC. So here there is no communication between BTS to BTS. That's why, see, there is no interface. These dark lines are the direct interface, and if the lines are dotted, then it is a control interface. But here there is no connection, neither dotted nor direct line. Okay, so this indicates that the BTS cannot directly transfer the call from BTS to BTS. Okay, so it have for switching, it have to take the help of BSC and MSC. Okay, so the BSC is the base station controller, and many BSCs are connected to nearby MSC. So suppose in district wise there is a one MSC, then that MSC will serve all the BSCs for the functionality of switching. Major function of MSC is switching, and another supporting functions are the database handling, like home location register, VLR, visitor location register, authentication of the particular mobile number, that these mobile numbers are from the authenticate list, or it is from the blacklist, or it is from the grey list. These decisions are taken by these three registers: HLR, VLR, and authentication. And another part of this architecture is operating support subsystem. So this operating support system is looking after the MSC as well as BSC for the operation and maintenance work. And this is the external public network: PSTN, public switch telephone network, ISDN, interstate dialing, and data network. So these networks are external, and the mobile station can connect to mobile or mobile to this external network via these interfaces. So these interfaces are different. Interface means connection. Just like we are connecting a charger to our mobile, that's a separate interface. they are connecting a data cable to computer, that is a separate interface. Like this, every interface is having a different hardware. That's why the interface are fixed, and these connections are only possible from BTS to BSC. This interface is only possible from BSC to MSC. Like this, every interface is different. Its functionality, pins, cabling is different. So we have to take care about these interfaces, that the proper interfaces are connected to each other. So in detail we'll see in the next diagram. So first we'll see the frequency reuse. All of us are already familiar. Just for some people who have not taught the mobile subject or via communication subject, I am repeating this. So these are the hexagonal cell area, which are the geographical area is divided in the hexagonal shape, so that the connectivity of all region is possible. See, no any region is left due to hexagonal. If you make it circular, some regions are left in between. Okay, that's why for the connectivity purpose, these are the shape of the cell site. Each cell site is having one separate frequency channel and separate BTS. We can say tower antenna. So here it is shown. Suppose there are 7 frequencies, F1 to F7, F1, F2, F3, F4, F5, F6, F7. So these frequencies are used in a particular cluster N1, and these frequencies can be reused in the cluster N2. Because see, this frequency is responsible only, the power is maintained so that it can communicate only in this hexagonal cell site. It is not communicating with the neighboring cell. If the particular mobile want to communicate with the neighboring cell, or any mobile is traveling from one cell to another cell, we can say mobility, then that particular call will be handed by the BSC and MSC. So there is no direct call transfer, or the signals are not reachable in the neighboring cell. Okay, that's why these frequencies can be reused after a particular distance. There is a reuse distance, and according to that only these frequencies are reused. Okay, so these are many clusters, 3 clusters shown in here. So due to this, we can use efficient use of the frequencies, because the frequencies are also, we are having the limitation on frequency. We cannot use all the frequency band. Okay, whatever band is allocated. Suppose now Reliance is allocated 2400 megahertz. Then they can use only the given bandwidth. The maximum bandwidth is with Reliance, so they can use maximum channels. But the remaining service providers cannot use these much channels. So there is a limitation of frequencies always there, because always we are going for higher data rate and higher bandwidth requirements, and that's why the frequency limitation is always there. So this is the main advantage of frequency reuse. Okay, so these frequencies are reused, and there is some calculation also that the total how many channels are possible in the system. That is MKN. So M is the number of clusters, K is the number of channels per cell, and N is the cluster size. So suppose sometimes the cluster is of size 4. Sometimes if the geographical locations are larger, then there are cluster size is 4. If the geographical locations are smaller, then the cluster size may be 7. Like this, it depends on your the geographical locations as well as your GSM architecture implementation. So each base station is allocated a group of radio channels to be used within a small geographical area, and base station in adjacent cell are assigned channel groups which contain completely different channel than the neighboring cells. Okay, so this is a cluster is a group of n cells, we can say 7 cells, and these clusters will repeat in the frequency from cluster to cluster. So again, in this diagram, simplified GSM architecture is shown. So here MS, mobile station, which is nowadays we are saying that user equipment. Okay, because initially in GSM it was having only the buttons for calling and receiving the call buttons. There are no facility of videos at all, internet videos, email. So that's why this is called as mobile station, and nowadays this mobile equipment is called as user equipment. So it is connected with the UM interface with the BTS. BTS is connected to BSC with the ABIS interface, and BSC is connected to MSC via TC. Okay, so MSC is working with the help of HS. These are the database provision: HLR, authentication, DLR, EIR, and PSD. Because MSC cannot do its own. everything MSC have to handle, like switching, routing, or we can say routing, we can say in the recent architecture, but in the older architecture we can say switching, because it is a circuit switch network. So the main function is switching, but for switching it have to take some database from HLR. Okay, HLR give the stores the permanent data about the subscriber, like his location information, subscription information is stored in HLR, and DLR stores only temporary information about the visiting information of the particular mobile. Suppose a particular mobile station travels from one cell to another cell, then that visiting information is stored in visitor location. So MSC have to connect the call as per the information from HLR as well as VLR. Okay, and again initially it is authentication is checked that this mobile is authenticated. For that the algorithm is run, and if this is within a microseconds and milliseconds. Okay, all this procedure, the initially in GSM it takes 10 milliseconds for call connection, and nowadays in if you say 4G architecture, within 2 to 3 milliseconds the call is initiated. Okay, as soon as we dial the number, our call is connected. Okay, so 3 milliseconds is very negligible delay, and still the scientists are trying to reduce this delay also for the next generation networks. So this MSC is connected to the PSTN LAN network. So if the mobile want to connect it to LAN, he have to that mobile have to travel all this path, mobile to BTS, BTS to BSC. Are you hearable to me? Yes, anyone? So this is the count of total mobile numbers. So it contains all the list of authenticated mobile number, their IMEI number, and it is if it is invalid or if it is in the blacklist, then that particular call is not established. So MSC have to look after everything. So for example, it is also seeing the mobile balance also checking. Suppose any particular mobile have not recharged. Okay, so immediately it is reported to MSC that this particular mobile is not recharged, and disconnect this call. So you will get the message or you will get the voice call within milliseconds that your charge is your mobile is not recharged or your call balance is not there. So all these functions are very fast and handled by the MSC. So MSC, we can say it is the heart of your network. Okay, GSM architecture which handles all these functionalities. Now again the architecture is quite expanded here, and all the full forms are given here. So I think there is nothing new in this. All we have seen, only we can see that these BSCs are not connected to BSC. See, all these interfaces are connected here, BTS to BSC, but BSCs cannot communicate with each other. This is the drawback of I think this is a drawback of GSM network, that BSC cannot transfer the call from BSC to BSC. Okay, so BSCs are connected to MSCs. MSCs are connected to GMSC, Gateway MSC, for the further PDN network, PLMN and internet, and OMC is the operation and maintenance. Same diagram is there. Now MSC is taking the help of all these databases, EIR, AUC, HLR and VL. So I think this already I have explained this diagram. These are the MSC is the major part of this architecture, where the switching takes place from one BSC to another BSC, one BTS to another BTS, or one MSC to another MSC. Okay, like this. So these are the different interfaces: UM interface, MS to BTS, ABS interface, BTS to, this one is wireless. Okay, ABS BTS to BSC is also sometimes wireless, sometimes wired. If it is some further distance, it may be wireless. Then BSC to MSC. So these are A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all interfaces. See, every interface is important. VLR is always communicating with HLR. Why? Because HLR, now again MSC to EIR, VLR to VLR also connected with the interface, and HLR to authentication. Because HLR authentication is checked, that HLR have all the user information, and this is shared with authentication, checked with the algorithm, and then authenticated mobile will only get the service from MSC. So HLR will tell MSC that this is authenticated user and make the call connect. Okay, like this, these interfaces will work. All are different interfaces with different wired connections. Now the mobile station is consists of two parts: mobile equipment and subscriber identity module SIM. So when we put the SIM in the mobile, it becomes the mobile station, and battery is obviously required. Now the permanent data in the SIM is unique mobile subscriber identity through IMSI number, authentication parameter KI, authentication algorithm A3, and generating encryption key KC algorithm A. All these are the permanent data, and temporary mobile TMSI, we can say this number is initially before assigning the permanent mobile number. This initial number is recorded in the SIM, but it is a removable data and location area identification, because it is also changed when the SIM changes its location. So mobile equipment are of three types: vehicle mounted, portable mounted, portable mobile unit, and hand portable unit. These are the types. Now SIM, we know the SIM, will skip this part because SIM is the heart of again mobile